Okay, we're live. I went overboard with this thumbnail and this description because I'm actually genuinely very excited about today, because something that I've been trying to work on for so long and I just have had no luck. I haven't been able to do it. Has been made. It's been open sourced. It exists now and you can just have it for free. It's on GitHub. It's Kronos. And what it is basically a large language model. Well, maybe not large language model, it's just a model where instead of language, semantic language, I think that's what it's called, but basically English, Arabic, any of the languages that exist, it uses price action in the form of open, high, low, close, and volume, V. I think it's this one over here. V, volume. Long story short, why this is so interesting and why this can end up being extremely invaluable is because it can get the climate. Now, for me, particularly with grid trading strategies, that's very important. And what I mean by climate, let me dig a little deeper with that one. It's not going to tell you exactly where price is going to go up or down, the bias. It's not going to tell you, well, it is going to tell you how far it would go up or down, but it's not going to give you a clear edge on its own, just with prediction, like using it for entries and exit. But it can be used to lock in zones. Say, okay, price is going to go in that general direction with a high probability it's going to stay in that zone for that duration of time, because it's kind of trained on the behavior of the currency pair that you train it on. And that's the thing, you can fine tune it. In other words, just like those simulations, I don't know if you've seen any of those video games where somebody goes and gets a video game with a character in it, just runs thousands of simulations, allowing the AI to just figure out the way to win. And then eventually the AI finds the best approach to win, just that, right? This is basically overfitting, deliberately overfitting. But what it results in, if you do it correctly, is a very aware character. Okay, if you fine-tune this on a specific currency pair or an instrument, it's probably going to be very aware on the behavior of that instrument. It knows what's possible, what isn't. I guess anything is possible, but in general, what's probable and what isn't. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. And so what I've done is overnight, I just kind of left my GPU running, both my GPUs, one on the 15-minute time frame and the other on the 3-minute time frame. And I've been doing Enochs. Enoch is basically like it's Enoch, but it's kind of spelled weird. It's basically one run, one simulation to see what happens. And what we end up with, first I did a zero shot. And what that means is I ran it with no training, just the training that already exists. Obviously, they trained it already before they put it out. But then I did that overnight. And what I want to do now is do another run kind of simulation to see what happens. Now, I'm going to show you some of the chat that I had because I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. And I'm waiting on this, so you can see here, evaluation, because it's been done for a while now, and it's evaluating the outcome. So it did an evaluation, the zero shot. What that means is, like I said, no fine tuning. Then overnight we did fine tuning, and now it's doing another evaluation. It's taking forever. I did not think it would take this long. I thought it would be done before the stream, but not entirely sure how long it's going to take. So long story short, I was just super excited to see this. This is what I asked. I'm like, is this basically what I think it is? It's a large language model. It's an LLM where the base layer is open, high, low, close. And it's already trained. Yes. Yes, that's crazy. I don't know what it's trained on. That's another thing to keep in mind. You know, different currencies, different instruments will have different behaviors, and you can't just train it on anything. But the mechanics are done, and there's something called the tokenizer, and that's something we're going to study today. We're going to figure out exactly what it is so that we can prompt effectively and actually do the training in a way that does produce results, and so that we can understand and interpret what's going on. But this is it. This is it. To make a really long story short, it just uses price action instead of language. So then I was curious. So I'm like, theoretically, can we transpile it? Maybe that's not the correct word, but basically making an MQL5 version of it. Okay. So that it can be backtested through MetaTrader. Assuming we add entry and exit rules. Basically, this is the part where I'm saying, can we make this into an expert advisor? Like a really, really big EA. I put that there because EAs are typically a lot smaller, and this could be a lot of code. There's gigabytes of data, you know. Well, it has to access that data. That's not going to be in the EA, but still there's a lot of rules involved. And then I started talking about you don't need to do that. You can do backtesting and then not have everything written in MQL5. That's possible. So I didn't know that, but that's nice. So we'll skip over this part because that's just me being curious about exactly that and asking about the workflows and what some of the possibilities are. But then we'll get into the first kind of zero shot, like no training. Like what happened? Just run it on the currency pair that I want, the Great British Pound, and it gave me this. So it didn't do a very good job over here, right? We chose a starting point. We used the 1 hour time frame. It didn't do horrible because if you think about it, starting from here, it started off good, it went up, which is where it's supposed to go, but then it just kept going up. So that's kind of problematic if you think about it. All right. Oh, wrong zoom button. And then this is less promising. So it decides over here, after this big spike up, to just go down, which is not what happened. Right, so this is the zero shot. This is on a specific currency pair that it probably was not trained on. The objective for today is to find out if fine-tuning does produce, you know, improvement. And if it does, then this is something I'm going to be obsessed with for a very long time. Now here's the I would say logic that needs to be understood. The way that price action behaves, yes, there are some things that are very predictable. Like for example, when the New York session opens, you're going to see a very clear pattern where just volume goes up. And because volume goes up, volatility also goes up. And so that's a very predictable pattern that you can observe. And you can avoid that time if you don't want the spread for your trading strategy, or you can lean into it. So that's easy, right? But that doesn't need something like this. So where would something like this actually come in? Well, what about zones? What about predicting currently based on all the data, the previous data of the week, and the behavior and the changes, the climate basically? What's the highest price probably that we can get to, and the lowest price probably that we can get to that hasn't happened yet? That's way more powerful if you can have like a climate quantifier than something like, let's just check yesterday's high, you know, or yesterday's lowest low. And that's where it gets interesting. So that's kind of what I'm thinking the purpose of this should be. And that's where the fine tuning comes in. As an indicator, this could be extremely useful. And for a grid trading system, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of outside of the scope, but you thrive in consolidation. So there's a consolidation zone. If it's big enough, this zone, price goes up and down, you just cash out in a grid trading system. Can we find those zones? That's what I want to see if this actually works. All right, what's next? So then I asked some questions, and it's saying actually it is promising, even though the data that I saw from it was not, or the visual I should say was not. It's saying no, it's very good. It did better than just complete randomness. Not bad. Okay. Then I asked, what about the 1 hour and what about the 15-minute? Because we did it initially with those. And it said, to make a really long story short, both of them are useful in different ways. Let me see if I can find that prompt. I think we skipped over it. Here, this is the one. So this, just so we can be, just so I don't have to be wrong, this is what it said. It said M15 is better at if the turn comes versus the random walk, basically just random, let's see what happens, right? And the H1 is better at when it comes. So what this means is use both. So if you can set this up, because me personally, I have 2 GPUs, it's entirely possible to run both GPUs and then get this to happen really quickly. Run both GPUs, maybe even 2 instances of it, produce data, right? Produce like, I don't know, zones, basically the high and the low, the potential high or potential low, whatever it is. Not entirely sure how I'm going to set this up yet, but produce those 2 time frames and then look for the confluence, which is like the first thing you do when you get into trading. You see a bunch of videos, tutorials of somebody saying just find confluence between the higher time frame and the lower one. This is like that version. This is like that, but this is on steroids. Okay, it's the steroids version of it. Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, well, let's try this, see if it's still running. Yeah, it's not, the server isn't running. But I basically had I had the Enox and it was showing me, and I set it up to run overnight. And I had like loading bars, and we got about 5 runs for one of them. Oh, this actually did finish. We got about 5 runs for one of them, and I think 18 or 19 runs for the other. And because this finished, I think I can show you. This finally finished. All right, let's figure out what's going on. First, let's see this. This is the first time I see this, by the way. The Ghost fan. So these are all the different runs that took place. And there is some interesting stuff going on. Like, for example, here, there is a deep spike, right? So you see this is the blue line is what actually happened in the data. You had this deep spike. And over here, you see it's darker, and all of them just kind of went down. Not all of them, but most of them went down. Now, why this is particularly interesting, number one, I only trained for one night. Like this can be trained a lot more on this particular currency pair. Number two is all of the other areas over here don't have that, right? So there's clearly some speculative power, whether it's edge or not, I don't know. Hello, what are you doing, Lego Geek? I found, so 404 suggested asked me to check out this repo, which is basically large language model, but instead of language, price action, which is crazy. And the way that it works, in a regular large language model, you have, like a dictionary, English words, and then each word you look for the probability of the next word coming after it, and then you build this giant extrapolation machine which predicts the next one. So to make a really long story short, it's like if I give you a pattern, 2, 4, 6, and then you put it together, 8, right? That huge large language models. This uses open, high, low, close, and volume as the words, right? It's just a model for that, which if it works is crazy. If this works is crazy. I'm discovering whether or not it works, and I've left my 2 GPUs running overnight doing Enox, fine-tuning the data, because I don't think it's trained on the currency pair that I think this could be particularly useful for. What else? To finish the recap. Oh yeah, I don't think this is going to be like a prediction machine, but I think it is going to be a very good machine to determine the zones, basically. Like to say, this is the behavior that you can expect soon, which is very good for grid trading systems, especially. Also, FixMap, new version is released. You can ask Claude how big of a change it is from 08, 08. Okay, we'll do that. Might as well do that now, because this just finished. But first, let me put the prompt, and then we'll check out your new FixMap. Okay. Let me just say, oh, wrong button. I fixed this. I don't know if you remember, but every time I zoom in and then I switch scenes, it zooms out, and then I have to zoom in again, and it's annoying. Now I'm up, I'm down, so it's now I can do that, which is fun. Anyway, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I don't see the visualizer with the ghost runs. Run it on Shuf Sand. I'm live streaming and I want to display the data in a, and now you can't see it again, presentable way. All right, while that's happening, let's check FixMap. What changed with FixMap? I already have FixMap, so I think it'll just work if I ask to check FixMap. Okay, like it's a person. FixMap, the repo we've used parts of for Arena, just got an update. Go through it. And tell me what has changed. We got the visualizer over here. It's still being run. My Shuf Sand skill makes it so that Claude can very easily start these new things. That's not what I wanted. The ghost map just showed me the same image. We'll get back to that. What did you say? It will need to update to a new version. Tell it to use FixMap Doctor if it can't find it. All right. Let's see what it says. All right, it's looking for it locally first. While that's running, let's see this make the, all right. Instead of a static visualizer, that's not how you spell visualizer. Use the same style as the overnight loading bars, plus show the ghost lines with some interactive controls, specifically in order to see improvement over time. Controls should enable, how do I say, like with time, like time series. I'm gonna do this. Time series. Chronological, I don't even know, a bunch of words. A chronological display to see, I guess, improvement again. That was not the best prompt. I'm usually better at prompting, I promise. Okay, the fix map thing is done. Okay. Here's what changed. Fixmap released version 0.8.9 yesterday. Is that the one? A big reliability sweep following version 8.8 on August 8th. Since Yarina guest installed Ariam Fixmap back in Bev 1 setup era July, I'll cover both. Okay, nice. Alright, so new Fixmap, and for anyone who doesn't know, Fixmap is basically a deterministic way to find bugs and fix them, really. It just maps out where all the bugs are, and things like, for example, finding if there's an orphan, right? So you do a surgical fix, and the surgical fix works, but the code that was modified without respect for other code somewhere else, which depends on that code that you just surgically fixed, which breaks something else far away, and you don't even know that it's broken. Silent failure. You don't know, right? And then in the future you go through a bunch of trouble trying to understand, because we're vibe coders, we don't know what's going on all the time, trying to understand what's wrong, like what happened. This is a deterministic approach to solving it, which basically means it's extremely cheap. You don't have to tell Fable, you don't have to tell a large language model to scrape through all the code and figure out and understand it all and interpret what's going on, you know, and rationalize and logic through it and reason through it and all those things. This makes it extremely cheap, arguably free. So that's what Fixmap is, and it just got an update. Let's see what changed. I'm already using it on a skill called Arena. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, basically, because I plan on downloading a bunch of random repositories from you, because you could just tell me download this thing. I have like a little instance that gets created of Windows inside my Windows, which is completely secluded from my actual Windows. So all the Linux people, like, you can use Windows, it's fine. It's possible in Windows. And then that gets downloaded there, and a full report happens, which tells me what the repo is all about, what the bugs are, and that's where Fixmap comes in, what the issues in the code is. And one other thing I forget. Oh yeah, security. That's the whole reason why I did this. Vulnerabilities. So what if somebody kind of, you know, deliberately hides some malicious code trying to pull stuff from you? It looks for those sorts of things and gives me just a report. So Fixmap is like one of the main pillars in this, and it's actually the way that we can do this very cheaply and very efficiently. Okay, that's the full context for anyone watching this confused. Like, what is this fix map? All right, what changed? New fix map / command fix map setup now installs and discoverable command into code cursor copilot. Okay, so it's a new skill. Fix map setup. Is that like a wizard? Or is it like an automatic install? Okay. New fix map validate. Checks the versioned report contract with fail on warning as a strict gate. Mirrored in GitHub action. I don't know what that means. Cache control. No cache. No cache forces a fresh scan. That's kind of important, because if you don't do caching, or if you don't consider the caching, it will just default to old data, potentially, especially because if you're constantly changing your build, that's very bad. So you need cache controls. That makes sense. It's like when I was trying to build like a website, and I didn't know that Control-Shift-R does a true refresh, like reread the code, right? And I'd make the change, and I'm like, it didn't change. Why didn't it change? And then I realized just Control-Shift-R, change happens because it reads the code all over again. It's like lists all fixed map features. Okay. So it's like an index, right? Like what you've done is to make it actually more efficient, not efficient. Yeah, efficient actually. As you've indexed things a little bit better, right? Makes sense. Indexing can make all the difference. Indexing, chunking, depending on the size, maybe chunking. 128 issue fix batch. Ranking, grounding definition, detection, import proximity clustering, confidence calibration, Unicode typographic quote handling, generated backup files, heuristics, right, a bunch of words, smart person words. I put the glasses on and they're gonna help me understand. Repo mapping now handles nested lock files. Unless you have task files, oversized diffs. Yeah, this is stuff that I don't completely understand. I'll ask about it. But let's see what the August 8th version is. Exact git state repository caching. JSON plans now carry version tracking. Okay, so this was the old update. Relevance to the arena, the wins for your pipeline are the no cache thing. Yeah, I knew the cache thing was important. That's deterministic fresh scan per battery. Nice. I'm gonna ask this. What's the biggest new feature in this update? I think the cache controls and the indexing help. I'm gonna also say why I think it helps, just to ask if I have the correct framing of this. I'm gonna say indexing makes everything makes the process of tool calling smooth. And then I'm going to say cache controls prevents the unwanted negligence of, that's too much, that's too many words, prevents missing something that changed because the cache obfuscate. It's because of the glasses. The glass obfuscates it. Am I correct in my understanding? Watch it say no. For God, if it just says no. Okay, you're mostly right. We're good. Also, why aren't you using Codex? It's so much more cheaper. Like Soul, you mean? I like Claude. I really like Claude. I think Claude is the best. I used to use, here's the thing. Before Codex really took off, like this is before Opus 4.6, which in my opinion was the first one. Okay, it was the first one that truly showed the potential of agentic engineering. Essentially, make the agent do everything. I was using GPT, and I was using ChatGPT specifically for writing MQL5 code, which is creating algorithms. But also, I was just using it in general for everything. When I tried building websites more, I went to anti-gravity, Google's anti-gravity. I started using Gemini when it just came out. And then I tried using Claude, and I think it was 4.6 at the time. And it was a completely different experience. Like Claude, you can make it do anything you want. And then since then, I've just been with Claude, like Claude 6, 7. And then I tried their actual desktop platform. And I realized skills is such a good idea, like having the skills slash and then it does that's the rest. And the UI was smooth and it was consistent. And I just realized like I'm gonna stay with this company, but GPT Soul. Yeah, but then the T3 thing recently, I got that. And you know, you're always adapting, you're always looking for the best one. And realistically, there's gonna be a different best one probably soon, you know. I'm not looking specifically for the cheapest one. I do want like a level of affordability. I'm looking for the best one, but at the same time, I'm not gonna just like I'm not gonna pay API pricing open router for Fable. I'm not gonna do that. But the subscription, 20x subscription, it's like $200. That makes sense because you do get a lot out of your money. Buddy, I'm using Claude since the end of 2025, the start of 2026. Claude has improved a lot, but GPT has improved even more. Okay. Fable is smart, I agree, but if used like Opus, Sonnet, they're just primitive, yeah. Agreed. Opus 5, when it came out, everyone kept saying like, this is amazing, this is Fable-like capabilities. It's not. GPT Soul is the best if you see cost per task. Yeah, that makes sense. T3, because wait, what is the actual pricing though? Before I say it, that makes sense. T3 opens that door for me because I like this UI, and so this is where Codex would live. I'll definitely look into it because I feel like, especially with something like this, the T3 thing, it becomes possible to have like basically put it on a task, forget about it, let it run in the background, and leave. With Claude, with a Claude desktop app, I know the CLI exists. I am a little limited. Like when I have different sessions, they just interact with one another, which is problematic. All right, let's go back to fixed map. Okay, quick question though, with your experience, because you did both GPT Soul and Fable 5. Can you get the same performance from GPT Soul that you can get with Fable in the same amount of time? Because there's a difference between like spending 3 hours and during this 3 hours you spend less money to get that outcome versus spending 1 hour and then you spend pretty much the same amount of money and you get that outcome. Now, I think, and I want to know if I'm wrong because I haven't used GPT Soul. I think you can get pretty much, you can do that 3 hours, but spend less money and get the exact same outcome. So it's just a time thing, which makes sense if you're running a bunch of tasks in the background, right? Then the time thing doesn't really matter anymore. Am I right in this analysis? How I see the picture? I'll read this while you think about it. All right. So what do we have here? You're mostly right. I was mostly right about it. The cache controls, yes, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. So this was a real bug, like the cache thing. Probably you solved it, like this problem, because you experienced it, and because you had your changes, you were looking for issues, it missed an issue, something happened, and then you realized, like, okay, what's going on? And then it told you, and you're like, we need to like make sure that the cache doesn't get in the way. Makes sense. The indexing thing where I'm wrong. Indexing half wrong, or half right, half right, wrong word. Okay. There's no new code indexing feature. What you're likely thinking of is discoverable, like fixed map commands plus feature catalog, like a catalog, not an index. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said index. I guess index is a much bigger, like index is really big. Catalog is like small. Yeah, catalog. I just used the wrong word. And you invoke it basically, kind of like a skill family. I need to use the word catalog instead of index actually. Biggest new feature, fixed map command, catalog. Fixed map validate, fail on warning. First machine checkable contract on report, yeah. I'm definitely going to add this update to my arena. I'm not going to do it now because it's very intensive, resource intensive on my computer, starting a whole new mini Windows in my Windows. All right. You may get a little worse or a better output, but it spends way less, but takes more time. Yeah, that makes sense. I think one thing that this forces to happen basically is OpenAI is forcing Anthropic to be more reasonable with their prices because like people are going to be willing to get a little bit worse performance, just a tiny bit, you know, but then spend way less money, right? And then all of a sudden it cuts into their profit because people switch, and people are going to probably continue to switch. You know, I'll definitely look into this fixed map a little bit more later because I want to actually test it out. I want to install the repo, and like I said, the arena skill is very intensive, and you know I'm using something called Hyper-V. You know, and it takes, and I need to install a repo to actually test it out. It's 50% cheaper. Damn. Like literally half the price. If you had to give it a number for, okay, let's say Fable is 100%, and that's top right now. And then, you know, maybe DeepSeek comes in at like 40%. at the fraction of the price. So 40% is pretty good. I'm pretty sure Sol doesn't come in at 50% of the capability of Fable. Is it like 75%? Am I making sense? Is it 75% of the capability? Is it closer to 60? Is it up like, is it 90%? It's basically the same, just Fable's a tiny bit better. What's the number you would give it? Bear in mind, it's half the cost. And the amount of usage Codex gives is easily a lot more. Tibo gives you so many resets, it's crazy. Like also, I think you meant also Lego Geek. Tibo. Yeah, I think for like one thing that really does kind of suck is the usage. On Fable. I'm using it pretty much freely, but I have these skills like the quick skill, brevity skill, compressors. To make a long story short, like caveman, that's a popular one, so that makes sense. And then when you use those skills, all of a sudden it makes sense. But so far, I've gone ahead and spent $500 over my spend limit, and this just kind of saves all of the spending. It's not like I spent $500 once. Like I'll go with the 50, I'll add the 200, add another 50, well 45, because they give you a discount. Still, it's too much. Especially because you're already spending a lot for the subscription. They can't do unlimited though. That's the thing. Like here's something to really keep in mind. It's a supply demand thing. Like sometimes what will happen with Fable is their server will be down, and there's just too many people using it. And so what ends up happening if they just bring the price down is literally just hardware issues. They just can't give everyone Fable. And so what do? You raise the price, and it makes sense. It's like this is the demand for it. Make the price meet the demand. I think there's thought behind it. It's not like they're just sitting there in the background jacking up the prices because why not? No. And yeah, they're trying to build way more data centers, but people are pissed about it. Whole drama about that. $500 is crazy. If you used that on Codex, you would have reaped the rewards. Don't worry, I reaped the rewards on Fable. He tweets resets a lot. Oh, you mean Thibaut is marketing head? Oh, I get it. You actually meant Thibaut. So he's a dude who just said, "All right, we're resetting it for everyone." So they're very generous about it, is what you're saying. Okay, I didn't know that. We at the beginning there were very many resets with Fable, and there still are sometimes, but not that many. And lucky for me, like I get resets at the same time. When I first got the Fable, after the ban ended, there were I think 2 or 3 resets, and all of them perfect timing for me because I was prepared to just use it. Like in my mind, I'll hit the limit, I'll pay more money, I'll use it again. So I got up to like 80%, and it wasn't Tuesday, which is when they do the reset. The next day happens, I come in, I'm like, all right, today is gonna be painful for my wallet because I'm gonna keep going. And I check, and the usage is 0. What happened? Nice. And then yeah, that's my experience. So there's definitely a bunch of resets, and I think they trigger each other. Like when OpenAI does something, Anthropic has to respond. Where am I? I'm losing the chat. I think I missed something. I would put yeah, that's what I would put capability at 95, cost at like 60. All right, so it's not like you mean like 60%, like it's not exactly half, it's more than half. Capability 95. 95 is crazy, actually. I didn't think it would be that like that. What do you use it for, though? Because depending on the domain, you'll have different performance. And what I do know, it's literally called codecs. So it's probably really good with coding. Maybe not as good with other things, which for us is perfect because we're doing coding. OpenAI servers are never down. Yeah, that's an advantage. Also, Opus 5 is so bad that I can't use it for coding. I use it for bug hunting a lot. And I use Soul to write my code. I don't even, like, I tried using Opus 5. The only thing I can use it for is UI. So I don't know why this is my experience, but this just is my experience. When it comes to UI tasks, like getting the button logic right, using the components and making sure that they fit correctly, feedback, like when you click a button and then it gives you feedback, structure, like it doesn't put words in random places or have the text go over the button, like this is the button, text just kind of comes out. Those silly mistakes, Fable and Opus are basically the same. Outside of that, like Fable beats Opus in every way, and Opus is actually, like you said, bad at things. So that was my experience. He reset. So Thibault, head of marketing at OpenAI, he reset it every week 3 to 4 times, like it happened today. It's gonna happen tomorrow. Okay. Anthropic is too cheap to respond. No one can reset like Thibault. Okay, you really like Thibault. I can't use Fable because I have $20 plan, so I'm waiting for a new model. Yeah, I can't wait for when open weight models actually make it possible for an investment in a GPU, right? Like right now, you could get a GPU and like really save your money, get that GPU, but you still wouldn't even get close to the performance that they're offering. I think they have tensor processing units, like TPUs. I think that's what it's called. But long story short, for today, it's not worth it. Open weight models. By the time that it becomes worth it, if you do buy like a really, really powerful GPU, a new model will have come out, a new GPU will have come out, maybe even a new GPU type. Like tensor processing units become available for everyone. And then now you're sitting there with like this outdated technology. So the pace that everything is moving in, doesn't make sense to get crazy GPUs. It makes more sense to just get really good GPUs for your computer, but not like throw your money at it and believe that you can have the same performance on your own system that you can get by paying these providers like OpenAI and Anthropic. Google sucks. Not as a company for other things, like I love YouTube. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube. But Gemini, in my experience, has just not been good. And what happened for me when they released Anti-Gravity 2.0 is I had a really, really bad experience with the customer support. The support specialists, what they call it. They made a mistake. Like my account was just put in the wrong, something happened, and I found that other people at forums where other people had the exact same issue, and I was telling them, look, I paid the full price, the subscription for the month, and what they did is they didn't give me my credits. I forget, it's like $100 and something or like in that range. Like it's a lot of money, because I'd already spent like $100 or I don't know, it's in the hundreds. Okay, low hundreds, like $100-$200 in that range. I paid the amount, and then I had the record of it, and I showed the support specialist, and they just say, no, you got it. And they gave me like video credits for video, something completely unrelated. I want AI credits. I paid for AI credits. I literally got AI credits last month, and I didn't change my subscription. And then I get these video credits because you did an update, and then I got lost in your system, and none of the support people have the authority to fix the problem. And all they can do is ramp up the ticket until you wait for another like 2 weeks or something. Eventually, I just committed a day to spam them. You know, and you go on Google, you ask Gemini, what should I do? And it says the best thing to do is not to interfere and open new tickets because it'll confuse the team. What did I do? I just kept opening tickets, kept opening tickets. I said either give me a refund or give me my tokens, like the credits. Eventually, they gave me a refund. And then I went on down this path of realizing that I cannot keep my data because I have a lot of data, like since 2022 on like Google Drive. Just leave everything in Google. I can't leave it there because one day something wrong, an accident happens. It's not like bad intentions and they're trying to get you, and no, just something happens. I have an issue with my data, and then I go talk to the customer support, and then you know they just respond with all the grammar issues, which is another really annoying thing. Like if they're not giving you correct grammar, what are the chances that they're not understanding you correctly? Using the word for, using the word to mean different things. And so when the support specialist is just giving you words back, spitting words back at you, trying to get rid of you, it's sketchy. I don't want to keep all my data there. And then I went down the full path using something called rclone to download my 1.2 terabytes of data and putting it on this hard drive. I've reclaimed my data already. And then, and this is where I'm at now, I took my subscription down to like the absolute minimum, and then it told me like emails will stop next month because my email has I think 33 gigabytes. Or no, yeah, 33 gigabytes, but I only have 15 or something like that. So I took that data as well, and that took a while. It worked. It worked. Like the system itself is designed for you to self-serve. The customer support is the only problem. And yeah, now I'm free. Now I'm basically free. I'm gonna switch to my own email even. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Gemini is absolute trash. Yeah, I realized that when I went to Claude, is that Gemini just does not compare. The thing is, they don't care. Google doesn't care. Google is, you know, winning the video game YouTube. Complete dominance. They're winning even hardware, right? They have the laptops and the phones even, and they're doing a good job with that, right? So for them to join this large language model race, it's nice. But then also I made a video about this a while back. The hardware, they're like Amazon. They can provide hardware for people to run their large language models, including the competitors like OpenAI and Anthropic. So they're playing the same game that Jensen is playing. So Jensen's selling all these GPUs to all these companies. He's heavily involved in artificial intelligence, but he doesn't have this brand that you pay, and you know it's a different game. Google's everywhere, literally everywhere. They're doing everything. So they can be marginally good at everything, and it's fine. It's a good strategy, business model for them. Nobody uses OpenAI like email. Nobody says, hey, email me at yusuf@openai.com, right? Different business models. Cool, use Proton. What is Proton? At this point, but the hardware and the vibe code your own software. Yeah, I can't wait for Jensen to go back to the Spark, the DGX Spark, and make it extremely accessible. That's going to change everything. Compute in general is going to change. I'm telling you. Like our generation or this decade is a pivot decade where we pivot from the old way of using these binary chips to the new way of using these binary chips where electricity goes in and out. New operating systems. I'm telling you, there's going to be a full-blown new operating system. AI, like Windows. Right now, Windows is the main one. What Windows and Apple, they're the main two. All of them use it. And then with mobile devices, you have iOS and Android. Those are the main two. Linux, I get it. It's big. It's used in everything, but it's not for the layman or the layman. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. You get the point, though. There's gonna be a new one for the layman and the laywoman, which is AI. It's designed specifically for AI, and I don't know how it's gonna look, but it's gonna be amazing. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be this decade. Watch. Or not this decade, like in this 10 years, because the decade is coming to an end soon. Proton is Google's alternative. Also read above messages. Did I miss something? I don't think I missed anything. Wait. I can't use Fable. Yeah. Let's check Proton. At this point, but the hardware and vibe coding, yeah. Okay. I want to see what Proton is. Thing is, I already kind of solved it. I fixed the problem to some degree. You just use pork bun and set up your own hosting for the email and the website and everything. But might as well check Proton. And then we'll go back to the focus of today. This was good talk. You got me talking about something that I made a video about before, so actually I'm very familiar with the topic. I removed my old videos. I don't know if you saw the old videos, but I removed everything. And the reason for that is because this is kind of a pivot for me. I want to do a bunch of live streams. And part of the Lego Geek, just so you know, part of the reason I'm taking these topics and then talking like it's a video is because I want to clip these and make videos about them, short videos. I'll show you this. Check this out. This is like a cheat sheet for terms that are trending. Okay, and just so you know, Google TPU versus NVIDIA GPU. 1,900 people searching it a month. It's trending now. Internationally. This is an API, Google's API. Which is why I love Google. I know I said I hate Google sometimes, but I love Google because of this. They just give you this data and you can use it. I'm transcribing my words. You can see that that it's just finding my words. And then it's giving me what's related so I can talk about what's trending, and then I can clip it and make a video and then succeed on YouTube. And then here's the things that because I get distracted a lot. It reminds me, like I go back to this, like this is the topic of the video, this is the title, right? Probably have good content about the video. And we'll get back to this, don't worry. We'll go back to Kronos. Okay, fixed map has become a topic. Long story short, the Google TPU versus NVIDIA GPU kind of supports the argument that I just made earlier, the fact that it's trending so much. Because people are searching for it. People want to find freedom and run their own system. Okay, so they're very interested in the hardware because AI has made it so accessible for just the layman to say, okay, I want my own server. I want it running completely. I want to access it, or I want to access it, you know, on localhost. Everyone knows localhost now. People know JSON also. Jason is everyone's friend. Clip fix map. Also, where did you get Google API? See, look, I kind of know. The Google console, okay, where you can set up a bunch of stuff, makes it possible for you to get all sorts of different APIs. Like for Google Maps, for example, you can do a lot of things and use their different tools, and basically it's free. Like it's not even, it's just free. They let anyone have it. And one of those APIs is search, like Google search, like when people search. And because you can access that data, you can see how many people search for whatever it is that they search for every month. And then you can see what's trending and what isn't. And it's really, really easy to set up. You just need verification. So when you tell AI to do it for you, it'll tell you you have to do this part or you have to do that part. But when you're done, you just have all the data. You can see everything. And I can literally see right now that Google TPU versus NVIDIA GPU is like a trending thing. So if I talk about it, it's probably good for the algorithm, specifically the Google algorithm, because it's being searched on Google and I'm talking about it on Google, YouTube. But you get the point. Anyway, that's exciting. Yes, I probably will clip fix map. I'm gonna get the video editor to do all this. I'm still building this. What I just showed you, I'm still building it. There's a whole thing that I'm building. All that needs to be built first before I even start with the videos. I think I'll be done by the end of this month. Yeah, by the end of August, basically. But we'll see. All right, let's wrap up fix map before we go back to the Kronos, where the eval is still going. Yeah, so fix map just got a massive upgrade. Two things from what I understand. First is this addition of a feature, which is the fact that cache control exists now, which is something that really is annoying when you're building stuff and then the cache gets in the way, and then you use the running version of it, not the new modified version of it, which is the code. Because what the cache does to speed things up is it makes it so that it doesn't have to go and read the code every single time for every single thing. And so having cache control, especially if you have an iterative workflow where you're trying to build something and iterate on it and actually work on it, changes the game. It makes it possible for you to actually have a very efficient workflow. The indexing, I was wrong with the term, it's more of a catalog. And yeah, that catalog kind of does the same thing. It makes things more efficient in a different way. What it does is it puts everything together, makes everything easily accessible because it's a catalog. Kind of like my skill families, how I do things. And you can check that out by coming to my live. All right. I'm practicing now for what I just told you about of the clipping thing. Let's go back to Kronos. Why is this taking so long? Oh. Zoom out. I just realized that in every Enoch, it runs several simulations. Also, I think that because if you look at where it's starting, all of them are starting around over here, not down here. And it doesn't make sense that price randomly for no reason just every single time starts up here. So maybe all of it is just kind of deliberately raised just so you can see both. If that's the case, let's not do that. I mean, let's just show it close to the real price. Let's see if that is the case. Quick. Are all the ghost runs deliberately higher up on the y-axis, or are they shown exactly from where the run starts? If that's the case, it kind of changes a lot from before. I don't even understand what's happening. I'll explain it in a really simple way without any tech jargon, okay? And then you know exactly what's happening. So just like how you've been using AI and it knows how to use language like very well, right? And then it opens up a bunch of doors, which is fun, and you learn really quickly and you explore all these different fields that don't make any sense. But then you can, even if they don't make sense, kind of use them. That works because tokens, like tokenization, all these different words are like tokens. So probably no is a token, offset is a token, probably, we don't know. There plotted token, right? And it'll show you, it doesn't show now because they're unended, but it'll show you how many tokens are being consumed. Now the token, what's being tokenized is the language, the English language in this case. What I'm looking at is something that tokenizes, it does the tokenization of, let me pull it up so that I find it. Price action. That took a while. Price action. So, candlesticks. Like you see price, right? It tokenizes that instead of tokenizing the English language, which basically means it's an artificial intelligence that speaks the language of price through tokenizer encoding, tokenizer decoder over here, decoding, reconstruction, bunch of complicated stuff that we don't really know what's going on because we haven't gone through it all already. But that's the gist of it. That's what's going on. And they have open sourced already several models. And you can see Kronos Mini uses 400 or 4.1 million parameters. The Kronos Large is not open sourced, the biggest one. And the one I'm currently testing is the KRONOS-BASE, the 102.3 million parameter model. And I'm fine tuning it. And what that means is I'm training it because large language models get trained. So that's basically exactly what I'm doing now to see if it actually is promising. Is it going to tell me the future? Is it going to show me the future? So this here is an example where it worked very nicely. You can see that it started over here, went down, and it didn't, not a bad job if you think about it. It went down, got the dip, pretty close to the dip at least. It went up, and then it just kind of lost its path around over here. But that's a nice capture of that little dip. And I want to find out what else is it good at. Here's another example of where it did good. This is volume. In other words, this is how many people were trading at a given time. And you can see in the chart, it's in the thousands. So 1,000 people trading, this much. This peak over here, the 4,500, you could say. All right. So when it started and it predicted, it did a pretty good job of capturing 2 of the peaks. One of them, it did a really, really good job, you can see. And the other one, it caught the time. Like this was the time where there was a peak and there's a peak in volume. Lots of people came in, but it overshot. It thought that there would be a lot more than there actually was. Right? Pretty remarkable that it was able to capture those two. Now, volume is going to be one of the easiest ones to capture because it's the easiest pattern. Like if you go on any chart and you just look at it and you put volume, you zoom out, every single day at the exact same time, the New York Stock Exchange opens and the market is flooded with entries and exits. Everyone who wants to trade any sort of stock, index, commodities through the New York Stock Exchange comes in at the same time. And then you see everything, even things that are not related to that. I don't know if you can say that. Currencies experience the exact same fluctuation in price. They also experience a big boost in volume. So volume is really easy, but what's interesting in this specific case is the fact that a model did it. An AI saw it with no specific indicator telling it, hey, this is the threshold. When this threshold gets crossed, draw this line. It's going ahead and choosing every single thing on its own, kind of. That's why this is so interesting, so promising, and why this must be studied if you are a trader. I hope that was a good overview. Look, there's a lot of things that I don't understand here. And I want to understand it. I want to know exactly what's going on. And I literally tried building this back in the old GPT days when GPT first came out. And I was like, let's build an AI of our own that uses open and high and low and close. And I used something called the K something. AI model Ken. It wasn't K-line. Markov chain versus K. I wish I knew. Kindergarten. It sounded like kindergarten. Yeah, I completely forgot. Nice. Okay, nice. So you know what that means basically now. You know, we're doing what the objective is. The objective is just to see. I want to see if we can fine tune it. The zero shot. Okay. Oh no, I accidentally clicked on Discord. The zero shot. Okay, means before the fine tuning. Before I did any training or anything to try and improve it, has data, and this is the data. It looks like this. And then I left my computer overnight trying to see if training it on a specific currency pair, because I don't know what they trained it on, actually will improve it. And if it does improve it, then all of a sudden we have a game plan, This is an experiment. Let's see what it said, because I thought there was an offset. They're plotting at exactly the price the model predicted. The fan, oh, wrong zoom. The fan and the blue truth line both begin at bar +1 after the same onset close. The gap you're seeing is the model's actual first price indication. Every path jumps 1.5 yen up immediately because the onset sits at an extreme low relative to the 512 bar context. Okay. Most of which live at 215 to 116, and the model's mean reversion reflex amplifies by its 5 standard deviations normalization, treating the spike as an outlier. That makes sense. I think it's the way that I prompted it. Quick, let me ask. Is this reflex a result of the method we used to train? Because we set the reward function to look for retracement. If it says yes, then it's my fault completely. Oh, thank God, no. Yeah, don't do it. Trust me. Do something else. Don't do what? Like train and fine tune? It is a rabbit hole. Like, you need to be very interested about this, or you need to be very interested in this if you want to go down this rabbit hole. No, there's no reward function anywhere in what we did. The overnight training was plain next candle prediction. The same objective as this original pre-training, just on GBP JPY bars. Retracement were never mentioned. To this model, framing exists only in our evaluation script. What's the status of the eval? Why is it taking so long? Yeah, don't. It's just gonna be a big headache. It's way too complex. Yeah. I tried several times. I like it, to be honest. It's definitely very complex, but it's very promising. Like, if this does actually work, and just so you know, like, this isn't a situation where I'm trying to create like a prediction machine. It will tell me where the price goes. Like, my expectations are pretty managed on this. What I'm trying to see is if I can get a very, very accurate like zone, like an indicator, right? Like, this is the zone that we're gonna stay inside of, because I already have an indicator that does, or an expert advisor, basically, and like an algo, okay, that does really, really good in a zone. It just prints money in this zone. Problem is, as soon as you exit that zone, huge problem. Just lose a bunch of money. So if you can get just a little bit of an edge in terms of this is the zone, you can get rich. Is basically why this is so useful for me. Yeah, I have pretty high confidence in this, but we'll see. We'll see. And by the way, Great British Pound and Japanese Yen, unlike any other instrument, retraces a ridiculous amount. Like, I did math, okay? I calculated it. This is an outlier in terms of retracement. And what I mean by that is all of the currency pairs, you can calculate how often they go back to their old price. So it starts here, the price, it goes up to here, okay? And then you can calculate, does it ever come back all the way down to this level that we're in over here in this given time frame? Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, statistically, by far, comes back the most. So it's a zone, right? Which is why I'm telling you this, in terms of like retracement, was built for Japanese, for pound versus yen, which was built for my EA, the grid trading, the gridlock EA. Use Codex and give this repo to it, and tell it to do what Claude did, see the magic happen. Wow, you really believe in Codex, huh? But for Sol, I suggest to put 20 bucks for the plan and try it. Trust me, you will never be able to go to Claude again. Okay, I'll do it. Next session, tomorrow, we'll be testing Codex. That's a good idea, actually. It's an interesting idea, because I can even do the thumbnail. I can be like, I'm loyal to Claude. I'm cheating on Claude, you know, something like that. Or Claude, not just Claude versus, you know, we'll come up with something. We'll be creative tomorrow. Yeah, Google TPU versus NVIDIA GPU really is trending. The tensor processing unit versus the GPU graphics processing unit. I'm a vibe coder, but I'm not dumb. Is it graphics? I need to check. Yeah. GPU stands for. Okay, and unit. Yes. Yes. CPU. Central processing unit. NPU. Neural processing unit. This is next level. No, I think the TPU is the one. NPU has been there, right? Apple has it in the iPhones. Basically, autocorrect. Alright, seriously, why is this eval taking so freaking long? Oh my god. No. Look. Kill stalled eval. Rerun M15 zero shot val loss. This is bad. This is bad. Maybe we literally did hours for nothing. Oh, that's the whole point of today. Go to LinkedIn messages. I sent you a preview. Preview of what? Oh, hi. The core. Oh, oh, you tried. Wait, is this T3? Are you using T3? Looks like T3's UI. Review fixed map feature plans. The core 0.9 work is already taking shape. Compact graph, compact agent output, repository benchmarking, and that's the benchmarking is the thing. And the controlled agent study harness are implemented in the isolated work tree. Work tree is kind of like the catalog, right? Or what the catalog is for. No, it's codex. Wait, this is the wait. To be clear, this is the codex interface. Yeah. All right. With core CLI suite, let's see the running commands. The public story will stay evidence first. 0.9 won't claim time saved or agent effectiveness without paid controlled runs. The site will present the new impact graph as an inspection aid. The first complete automated pass is green. Type checking succeed across all workspace and all 709 tests passed. What is this? What am I looking at? This is a preview for the fixed map features. This is beyond me. I think you're very familiar with it because it's your project. This happens to me a lot also. Like I'll be very familiar with something. I'll just forget that nobody knows what I'm talking about, and then I'll just talk about it. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. It's difficult to express yourself, if I'm being honest. But it's okay. Over time, you just get used to it. And then you also learn how to do it. It's just like a preview, next update of features. Wait, is this the new features that exist now in the open source one that you open source, or is this something you're working on still? I can see your other prompts. Ariam, I looked through the something over here. Grok's answer. Ah, you're using Grok. You're using Grok as well. I know this about you now. Cloud's answer, the strong, maybe 1. That's a lot of changes also over here. Now they will be released 0.9. Okay, so these are the new features. I see. That's why it didn't make sense. Didn't match a lot of the things. The first complete automated pass is green. Okay, this is about what it's doing. So forget about that. Context automatically compacted. This can probably give us what's going on. The core work is already taking shape. Impact graph. That's useful. More organization will always produce more accurate results for a large language model because it goes through so much stuff. So if it's organized properly, and also for large language models, it's not like humans. Like you add way more variables and more organization and more folders that you need to manage. As a human, you just get overwhelmed. But for a large language model, having everything laid out and organized a lot just makes it better. This is the new version of fixed map, which hasn't even come out yet. Repository benchmarking, that's basically the arena thing that I'm doing, but more narrow in scope, more specialist, more focused. And the controlled agent study harness are implemented in the isolated work tree. You gotta, this is the testament. This is what it's testing now. Yeah. You need to download like, you need to download repos and test on real repos. Look for different stuff, or different types of projects, I should say, like variability, because then you'll find real issues. Oh, look, there's a thumbs up. I look funny on my LinkedIn page. Anyway. Where are we at? Where are we at? Restarted cleanly and now genuinely working. Model loading on the 5060 Ti, 3.5 GB allocated. Why the delay? The original run got silently deadlocked when its output pipe was orphaned. Wow. It's kind of sad. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe this shouldn't be a live stream thing because we're probably going to run into a lot of problems. I'll just do it in the next stream. or one of the future streams when I have more of a result. But I mean, we did get some interesting results, and we did talk about tokenization and how that works and why this kind of works and what it works for. To give you like a really brief overview of what I just said, the tokenization is the mechanic which explains why it works, and it's the fact that you're using candlesticks instead of language and then training it on that. Where I say also how it works, that's also how it works. And what it works for is something like a grid trading system, a grid trading strategy, where bias isn't really important in a grid trading system. You just have a zone. So some strategies are that market neutral, we'll call it, where it doesn't really matter. But what does matter is the zone that you're in. If you exceed that zone and you get out of it, you're screwed with the martingale, or sorry, with the grid trading system. Martingale too. But yeah, that's basically what we've done this stream. And also, we've gone over fixed map. With goal, my codex worked for 15 hours for releasing 0.8.9 with goal. You gotta make sure to do a really long, deep prompt explaining exactly what you want if you want to make it work for a very long time, because drift, it'll go in and it'll start changing things, little things that are actually very important that you don't want to be changed. You know, probably my Bev skill would be very good for running something like that for 15 hours. Also, I guess it depends on the workflow. Like me personally, I really like the iterative workflow where you're involved. So I wouldn't want it to, go build everything on its own. I want checkpoints, like save states, you can call it. Like build this new feature, this one thing, on your own, and then we spend some time where I modify it and I make it exactly how I want it, because I want to keep doors open. And then go do the next part on your own, and once again, we spend a little bit of time together, making sure that it's exactly the way I want it. And then that way, not only do I know that every single feature works, but I know that every single feature works in the way that I want, which doesn't prevent future ideas that I may have. Because I know I might not know the exact idea that I'm going to have in the future, but I know the sorts of things that I would want to avoid because they close doors. What an AI will do, a large language model will do, is it will take the objective, success basically, and look for the most efficient way to just do that, irrespective of what doors get blocked. So things like choosing which language it uses, that's something that you would want to make sure that you have a say in. Like, what are the possibilities with this language versus that language? Those sorts of things. So you choose things and then you let it work. And that's the iteration phase that I was talking about. So you have like, do it on your own and then pause, let me check. Do it on your own and then pause, let me check. Salam alaikum. J35. 404. 404. I saw you on another chat as well. The Billy guy with the glasses. You're everywhere, huh? I mean, the prompt quality you give to Claude, I'm telling you, Codex will be magic for you. Oh, thank you. That is a compliment, right? You're talking about my quality. Now I am here. We can be distracted. We've been distracted. You have no idea. Lego Geek took me on all the distractions of the day. We checked his repo. We did everything. Perfect timing because my thing was stalled. Actually, bad timing. I probably would have noticed that it was stalled had I not been distracted. Yeah, Billy, I am mod there too. Where are you mod everywhere? Like, who else exists that you're modding for? And why don't you turn this into like a proper business model? You're a programmer. You can literally create like an app for different streamers of different like a chat app, maybe even a group. You don't have to program it yourself. There's so many things you can do if you're approaching this as like a full-time, not a job because you're not getting money, but like hobby, full-time hobby. This is the main thing you do. The Billy guy, uh, good vibe. It's funny. Well, I was watching, because I just started, obviously. I was watching different people and I was trying to plan out like how am I gonna do the streaming, and I was getting in my head, if I'm being honest. I was thinking like I need to be prepared. I can't just show people unprepared products. And then I realized from watching the competition, basically scouting out the landscape, what's going on, that everyone's unprepared. Everyone's vulnerable, really, just showing themselves learning, trying things. And I put in Jillian's chat, and I told her like you inspired me to do this. This was the push that I needed because it's true. I saw her just being very open. She doesn't know what's going on, but that's okay. She's just learning. And I suggested something. I suggested the grill me skill. And I knew, because I know this, right, that it would work really well for her workflow, which is design. So she was trying things, I think Caveman, which is a compression skill, which takes 10 words in a sentence, squeezes it down to like 4 to save tokens, which is horrible for design. Absolutely horrible for design. Because with design, you want to have a lot of words, descriptive words, right? You want to make sure that the large language model has a lot of context. You don't want to compress the context. You want to expand it. Literally the opposite. And I knew that Grill Me would do that, the skill. And so I suggested it for her. She checked it. She put it on a new tab, and she's like, I'll come back to that. And that's when I realized if I do the live stream and I just, have some engagements and feedback, I'm probably going to improve as well. So I just need to be okay with being a little vulnerable. And it worked out. You guys have been suggesting so many useful things. Oh, by the way, I literally forgot to tell you, or I just didn't tell you, the thing that you sent me yesterday, game changer. You have no idea. This is my new obsession. You just gave me my complete. That was the whole point of today, by the way, the whole session. And I left my computer on all night, running, basically fine tuning the thing that you sent me, the model. Bro, changed everything. I don't know, maybe go back and watch the stream. But this is ridiculous. I'm gonna read you comments in a second. I just want to say this before I forget. What this is basically AI, but price action is the language. I can turn this into an indicator and use it. Crazy. Thank you for sending it to me. All right. I skipped a lot of comments. Hold on. Or chats. I'll train AI model on me. Okay. To be mod everywhere. Okay. That's a good use of AI. Bye. I need to go. We'll come back tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Thanks for the engagement. And thanks for telling me about FixMap. The streams are peaceful and calm. They are. Yusuf, Jillian, what's your username? I don't know her. No. Well, I do know of her, I guess. I subscribed to her. She subscribed back. No, she's aspiring, actually. What's your username? Don't know. Just this is the YouTube. Oh, you're asking him. I'm such an idiot. Okay. I have no respect for people who want to lie and just want to be in the space to scam and make quick money. That's fair. Let's go, Yusuf. So happy that I was able to help. Okay, I need to go. Bye. Sorry, I went on a rant. Like, all right, let go. Take care. Yeah, I basically missed the conversation between you guys. But yeah, that's really it for today. Like, I've been streaming. I'll stay for a little while longer. Let's see if this gets fixed quickly. Let's see how long it'll take. Whether or not it's worth it to stay. Because if it says it'll take like 3 hours, yeah, we'll just leave it for tomorrow, and chances are it'll make even more mistakes. Because we already got one situation where I made a mistake. But yeah. If it's like it'll finish in 20 minutes, might as well stay. Quick. How long will it take for the eval to complete? This time also check if everything is working just fine. Was the model able to give you some predictions? Predictions, no, but zones, yes. And that's what I'm testing now. What I'm testing specifically is I'm trying to determine whether or not the zero shot, which I didn't fine tune it at all on the currency pair that I want to use, is going to be worse than when I do fine tune it. And just to tell you what I mean by zone, because I did a zero shot test on the 1 hour time frame and the 15-minute time frame. It did a really good job of catching the behavior of the price. So basically, see all the, I'm repurposing it kind of. See all of the runs, like the ghost runs, okay? They give you a really good sense of the zone. Like how, like where it could fill. This is the highest high, this is the lowest low. Most probable area is going to be over here. And then it gives you one shot when you do actually run it of where it can go. But what if you use all those different runs as a zone area? Why? For a grid trading strategy. And with a grid trading strategy, you're indiscriminate about a bias. You don't care if it gives you prediction of like up or down. All you care about is can it tell you the zone? Because grid trading strategy, you thrive in consolidation if there's high volatility. In other words, if price goes like this, you just make bank and then you leave. You win. If price goes like this and then continues to go up, flies up, you lose. What if it can tell me price is going to go up, down like this and consolidate for a while with a high degree of certainty? Then I'm stupid rich. I'm telling you. Because I already have the grid trading strategy. I've built multiple versions of it. I actually have it on my school, the Gridlock EA. And it's nice. It's a really nice EA with the school community. Also, A/B test the original model and fine-tuning model to get a benchmark of fine-tuning. That's exactly what I'm doing. That is exactly what I'm doing. And I have, I already did, I left my computer overnight for the Enoch. Where is it? So this is the zero shot. Like this is the results of it. And there's a mean reversion bias. In other words, it doesn't do a really good job during a trend. So this is downtrend. And it thought that it would revert to the mean. Okay. So that's something I will either need to modify, like actually adjust the behavior of it, or like fine-tune so hard that it stops with this issue, because it's trained on a completely different. It's not trained on GBP JPY. I don't know what it's trained on, but yeah, this needs to be fine-tuned, is what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of work to be done, but the tokenizer itself, the fact that it's already modeled, like they did all the difficult stuff. The rest is easy. Then I can just copy trade you, be rich myself. Yeah, I'm copy trading. I really don't want to be. I want to get out of this, but in the meantime, this is who I'm copying now because it's just the best for now. I'm copying this guy, okay? And the reason I'm copying him is because he has the track record. He wins the track record game since 2021. He has not lost. Okay, this doesn't really count as a loss, and it's the only one where he was in the minus. The reason I say it doesn't count as a loss is because he didn't blow the account in what is essentially martingale. I messaged him and I asked him, like, what are you doing? He said grid. He said it's grid based. He doesn't want to say that it's a grid. You know, and people treat martingale like it's a bad word. Like it's not martingale. You know, bro, it's martingale. I'm sorry. Like I saw it. If you're doubling down ever, it's martingale. Thing is, he survived since 2021 and nobody else did. That being said, you want to make sure that when you are in some sort of a martingale strategy, you understand the risks. All right. So you can see like double downs basically. Buy 2, 1, and then buy, and then buy. It's because of the way that it closes, it doesn't show. But in my experience, like from looking at the trades themselves, I can see it going from like 0.1 and then 0.1 again, and then you're down in a drawdown, and then 0.2, right? Or 0.02, 0.01 and 0.2. So it's scary. And this isn't actually the one that I'm in, but he said that it's the same EA. The other one's called Up Fuji. This is the one. And you can see like I got in the correct time, you could say. When did I get in? I think I got in around June or July. I'm definitely up. You should do some you should do some someday technique, a live someday teaching us this stuff. Yeah, I mean the basics of how we can set up broker to use and copy trade. Yeah, see the thing is, I thought about it, like how can I do this in a live, and it's really difficult because to set up a broker, most people what they'll struggle with is they prompt you basically. I click here, do this next, right? If I do that, then I'm just throwing all my personal information. How do I, during live, set up everything with the broker from start to finish? One thing that does actually help though is talking about the different types of brokers in your experience, what to stay away from, because, and this happens to everyone, you're gonna go for a scam broker. Like it's gonna happen. When you start, you think, okay, less commission is better. But in fact, that's a bad thing because there's so many nefarious little tactics that they use to get you, okay? And they sell you on like low commission, we have the best commission, low spread, stuff like that. At the end of the day, how easy is it? This is a good rule of thumb. How easy is it to set up your brokerage account with your broker? My broker, I'll show you my broker, and this is legit a good rule of thumb to see how reliable or how trustworthy your broker is. Okay, how easy is it to sign up to your broker? It should not be easy. I'm telling you, this is how you know you have a legit broker. You go to my broker after Prime, and this is what they give you. This is what they say. Get an invite code. You can't just sign up. Like, who do you think you are? We can't just sign you up. We don't know you. Why do they do that? I'll tell you why they do that. Because they're legit. When you put your money in whatever it is that you put your money in, they actually take your money and they put it in that whatever it is. And they bear a risk. So they don't want just anyone to come in and do whatever they want and play with them. When you blow an account, and this is something, there's like a hard stop loss rule or something. When you over leverage, you get a bunch of leverage. You put in like $1,000, and then you just throw all the size in one position, gambling. Okay, and then it hits your stop loss really hard, and there's slippage, and you don't get filled in time, and it just goes way down, and you would have lost so much more had your account had more. Who took the hit? Like genuinely, who took it? The broker, because they have a liquidity provider. They have to fill their orders, and their orders get filled, and they're doing the trading on your behalf, the broker, and so they just take a massive hit, whereas you're protected. You just have your account. It's not like they're gonna say you owe us money now, right? And so brokers who genuinely take your money and trade it for you, it's like getting into a club. Yeah. Brokers who genuinely take your money and trade it for you are kind of rare, we'll say. But the brokers who don't, ebook brokers is what it's called. And like you can see this. It says 100% A book. This is the ultimate flex in terms of broker. Okay. B book brokers who are not like this, who are not A book, legit casino. Casino. Like there's no other way to put it. It's basically a casino. You go, okay, they give you some stuff. They say, we're going to pretend like this is what is actually happening with your entry and exit, like what's actually happening, but it's not. That was a horrible way to explain it. My bad. Let me try again. They, what they do is they just give you a contract and say, listen, you enter at this time as if you really entered, like you actually put your money over there. We'll hold your money, okay? We're not actually going to, and they're open about this. They're transparent about it. You just ask them, are you a book broker or not? If they respond with anything other than, yes, we're a book, you got your answer. That's how transparent they are. Because they're not going to say we're an a book broker. Because if they do, you can sue them so, so hard. So, long story short, they're not going to lie about that. Okay? They just hold your money and they say, all right, let's see what happens. You said you wanted to buy, right? You make money if it goes up, right? Okay, cool. And they just hold. They don't take any risk. They don't do anything. Now think about it. When you do lose, who wins? They do, because they just keep your money. When you do win, when you win, actually, it did go up, and now you have to get money. Who loses? They do, because now they have to pay you. They actually have to go take from their own money and give you your winnings. And so they lose. And that's called conflict of interest. And that is the one thing that you need to make sure you understand if you want to find a broker. Other than that, go find bad spreads, bad commission. None of that stuff matters. Is there a conflict of interest? With my broker, if I win, they win, because then the amount that they're charging me, which is a percentage basically, commission increases. So for me to come in with a large lot size and they just take commission on every trade, right? The bigger my trade is, the more money they make. They want me to win, right? So they can win. You got me excited. 404. You put me on a rant. I have this energy because of this dude called Anton Creel. I'm not even gonna get into it. I'll go on like the worst rabbit hole ever. But he's like this. He's cynical. Like people are out to get you. These B-book brokers. You know, if you succeed with a B-book broker, he says you're a cannibal, literally, because you win. The broker has to pay you with other traders, losers. So you're cannibalizing like your own peers. It's the perfect analogy. Let me read what you said. You said a bunch of stuff. I used FX Pro once, deposited some money to try it. Oh, it's like getting into a cup. What is NDD and STP broker? FX Pro is that kind. I'm not entirely sure. Let me check. Oh, that sounds like casino B-book. Yeah, it is a casino. It is. Let's check NDD and STP broker. NDD broker meaning. No dealing desk broker is a Forex well, Forex trading intermediary that routes clients' orders straight to the interbank market or external liquidity provider with human intervention, or a traditional dealing desk. I don't think that's accessible to retail, is it? Or maybe it's just a classification. You said it's accessible. It's FX Pro, so it's definitely accessible. It's NDD and STP combined. All right, let's find out what STP is. But first, let me just get a good understanding of NDD. Main types of NDD, one of them is STP. ECN, I'm pretty sure after prime is ECN. Straight through processing sends client orders directly to one or more liquidity providers. Okay. Electronic communication network connects a pool of various market participants, banks and retail traders, where multiple prices compete for the best execution. I feel like STP would be quicker, but ECN would get you a better price. I feel like STP would reduce slippage though, no? Viable questions, and we need to ask to learn. Let's ask Claude, actually. This is a really good distraction, to be honest. I must already, or I should know these things. It's something I should know. All right, I know how to frame this question because I'm familiar enough with this topic that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do a good job of getting the answer. Quick. Most brokers are NDD brokers, given that computers are so accessible. Is there an alternative to NDD today for retail traders? Also, what's the advantage, or what are the advantages and disadvantages? I should have said and or. Of ECN versus, that's a very bad way to phrase it, but it'll work, don't worry. Versus STP. Why is the verses red? Oh, I don't know. This is how you need to do it. You put the dot in the middle. Yeah, okay. Give me extremely concise language and show me a table for ECN versus STP. Can you add FX Pro to Code's question? Yeah. Let me get the. All right. Let's get the difference between everything, and then we'll ask what are the brokers. Compare them using this knowledge. Include After Prime, FX Pro. We'll add a few others. So we'll put my broker and your broker, and then we get to know what all the brokers are, or where all the brokers stack up against each other. To be exact. That's some. All right. Alternative to NDD, yes, dealing desk, DD, market maker. Brokers still exist and are common at retail. Many CFD brokers B-book internally. Practically, DD slash B-book hybrid, B-book small accounts, A-book winners, and true DMA are the alternatives. Pure DMA exchange traded FX. Futures versus CME is the cleanest non-NDD style option. Basically, B-book is like not NDD. There's no desk because they're not doing any deals. Direct market access, the DMA, direct market access. Maybe that needs a dealing desk. All right, well, we get the idea. So there are different approaches. But now let's actually see the two NDDs and compare them with one another. All right, so routing for the ECN first. We'll go over ECN. Anonymous order books and liquidity providers plus other traders. That's the routing, so it's anonymous. Whereas the STP is broker forwards to its own liquidity pool. Anonymity could be an advantage or disadvantage. I don't know, but it's nice distinction. So with the ECN, you do have kind of privacy because nobody knows what you're doing, who you're trading, or who it is that's trading. So if the privacy is something you want, where the STP, I guess, keeps a record of it. Broker forwards to its own liquidity pool. I mean, technically, both of them are going to be logged, so I don't know if that's the best one. Anyway, we'll go to spreads. That's an important one. Raw. From 0.0 plus commission. So ECN is very cheap. STP marked up spreads, usually no commission. Sounds like it's a bit worse, but I guess it depends on what you're trading. Yeah, it'll depend entirely on what you're trading. But yeah, that's distinction. I would say for me it's worse. Like I want lower spreads even if I have to pay a commission. Pricing transparency. High pricing transparency with the ECN. Lower pricing transparency with the STP. Broker picks and aggregates liquidity providers. So ECN, I guess, is safer. It's a safer alternative because, you know, you're going to get quoted at the best price because there's more than one liquidity provider. There's just more than one place that says the price of whatever it is whatever it is. And so you choose whichever one because you have all the options, and then you get the quota, as opposed to just one place that determines price. Could be off. Maybe they have lag. Maybe they have bias, whatever it is. So ECN is the winner, I would say, in that case. Execution. Can partial fill true market depth. Instant-ish. See, that's what I was talking about. I knew it. I said STP probably is faster. And that's the true advantage of STP. So if you want to do anything like really fast, STP is probably what you need. Like any HFT strategy, high frequency, if you can get STP. But then again, the spreads are high, so I don't even know if that works. Still really useful. Maybe like the saddle trade. For anyone who doesn't know, saddle trade, for example, is a trading strategy. Saddle or straddle? Straddle, saddle, one of those. Where right before the New York Open, whatever it is, you put a little sell stop down here, a little buy stop over here. Go up, you know, or go down. Try to get in whichever one. The reason it doesn't work, probably because you're using ECN, is you just don't get in time. You get whipsawed, which means it goes up and down so fast that you get exited as at the worst price, and so you're basically liquidity for bigger traders who maybe have STP. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. So it kind of makes sense. This is the one thing that clearly STP is the winner on. Let's keep going. Cost cheaper for scalpers. Oh. So the cost is cheaper for scalpers and high volume. STP is simpler, better for small and infrequent traders. So maybe not high frequency. All right. Conflict of interest is minimal. Very minimal conflict of interest with ECN. With STP, it's slow, but markup incentive exits. Markup incentive exits. Not entirely sure what that means. Or we'll just take it at face value. There's a low conflict of interest, so it exists there. And we'll move on to the final one, which is the minimum deposit lot. The ECN is often higher, whereas the STP usually lower, and it's more retail friendly. Not sure how leverage plays into all this. Oh, hi, you're back. I still didn't leave. I got distracted again by 404 in a completely different direction of distraction. I didn't read what you said. I was using it during that XAU USD hike. Lost money, but good way to learn. Yeah. Yeah. I think gold is gonna keep hiking, like probably several more times in our lifetimes. You'll have a situation like that. Read my last message about leverage. I'm pretty sure there was something about leverage. Yeah, because FX Pro has really high leverage. When I tried it, they have unlimited leverage option. Careful. Careful. This is one of the ways that they get you. So if you're completely new, you don't know what your own leverage is, which happens. What will happen is small movements blow your account. I entered, I think it was Binance. I forget, one of the crypto brokers. I didn't trade because I knew at the time what margin was. my friend was showing me, and I asked him, like, what's your leverage? Like, what leverage? I'm just buying Bitcoin. He thought he was buying Bitcoin. Told him, you're not buying Bitcoin. You're trading like a derivative product of Bitcoin that's highly leveraged. You're probably not even buying Bitcoin when you want to buy it. And that's how I kind of dug into this. And we checked what his leverage was, and it took a really long time to find it, navigating in because he was on the phone. And we found it, and it was 3,000 to 1. That's crazy. And that's why as soon as he clicked the button, everything blew up. He just lost all his money immediately. It was a little bit of money he was just trying, which increases the chance of you losing everything if you have a tiny amount of money, initial capital. But yeah, that's one of the ways, and I know they do it deliberately because they can very easily just say you can't have high leverage unless you wait like 6 months and you do some trading. That would save so many people so much money, but they would lose so much money because if it's a B-book broker, immediately they just make all that money. So if someone comes in, throws $30, too ashamed to admit to anyone that they just lost $30, and there's thousands of this person. Like every day, just thousands come in like that internationally. They got me for sure. Yeah. Lol. Small movements made me a lot of money, like a lot on gold, and small movements I lost. And small, yeah. Guys, any tips to get people to try fixed map? Stream. That's one thing you could do. How would you do that? How would you? Well, you're doing a pretty good job already. You're talking to a bunch of. You're talking about fixed map on different streams, right? Raising awareness. It's just I don't really have that many followers. I'll keep going, you know. Uh, get some followers and try it. I would say it's too complicated right now. Fixed map is way too complicated. Not from a functionality perspective, but from a branding perspective. Like my brevity skill, for example, which I think is still a little too complicated if I'm being honest. Looks like this. I deliberately, like on the GitHub repo, was thinking, how can I make this so easy that anyone just kind of gets it? Like I said, still too complicated. So I just put this. Oh yeah, I thought it's hard to get the streamer's attention. It is, yeah. Anyway, look at this. I put this here. A minimal cost that snowballs into very large savings. Like a little hook, you know? And then I wrote the more complicated thing, which is it's a seam-aware token compression for autonomous coding agents. 0 tokens at every seam, 0 loss of quality by design. Yeah, but keep in mind, like I'm still nobody on that one, so maybe I'm not the perfect person for this. All right, we'll just do the last one of this. Oh no, we already did it. Yeah, they just hire more. Let's check FX Pro. All right, FX Pro versus After Prime versus a few others. Give me a table. List if they are A book or B book. Talk about reliability. And if you can find the data, how many users lose money / blow the account. Yeah, It's about how you to present to them. Yeah, it's how you present it. I mean, 404 probably is the marketing guy. He's mod everywhere. Got everyone's attention. Everyone has more subscribers than me, so there's that. You know, if you present AI as its large language model that uses statistics and TensorFlow to process and give outputs, no one will be interested. That's what I'm saying. It's too complicated. It doesn't make sense. But if you, it doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what you just said just there. But if you present AI as super intelligence, help you make money. Next generation, next generation thing that's will get people curious. Yeah, I have not seen your project yet, Lego Geek, but just a tip. That's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Is you can't just like even just now when you asked me to check your preview, it made no sense to me. I tried, you know. Whoa, that's actually cool feedback. Because I was using stats, but the thing is, FixMap needs to show stats or people will think it's garbage. Also, thanks a lot. You need a visualizer, bro. Trust me. Visualizer. Fix map. It's in the name, map. It's a really nice name that you chose, actually. And do something like a node map. Or a node, like you see Graphify. Why is Graphify so popular? Because everyone immediately thinks of those nodes. And it's like, oh, it's mapping out my entire code base. And everything gets shown. It's cool, right? I wouldn't use Graphify. It's just, I don't have that much. My code isn't that big. But it got me interested and curious, and I looked it up and I searched about it because of that animation and the presentation, the visual. So when I say you need a visualizer, basically. If I were you, I'd spend a lot of time on the visuals. Show me what value it brings in terms of time, money, anything valuable that attracts people. It's actually very useful. I'll tell you how, from what I know, because I spent some time on it. It's a deterministic way to find problems. And so instead of getting the code, or sorry, getting the large language model to go and you spend tokens and it finds the issues, it basically does it for free. So even if it doesn't do a good job, it's literally free. And then it makes it possible for something like DeepSeek to be very, very useful. These little things, right? If you have these tools. That's getting built already. Wait, show me the. Excuse me. You read the graph thing, right? Ah, that's what the impact graph is. Okay. See, I didn't know that, but that's yeah. I wrote that it saves time and money. That's right, you have to show it. Show it, yeah. Show this versus that, you know? I tried in my thumbnail. I don't know if it worked. I guess you would have to let me know. I tried to put those two lines because the repo that 404 sent did a perfect job of this. They showed it. Look. Like this is what they did to show. Visuals matter. Blue, all blue, and then just over here, red only. And then the red goes up, like it's like, whoa, it went up, right? Even though that's like technically a bad thing, like you don't want it to go far away from the blue. Like it's showing you a bad thing, but it's still like they're playing the visuals game, you know? Like benchmarks or what, video. I mean, you can do, in my opinion, you can do just graphics. Like this is graphics. You know, they're showing it like this. This is too complicated though. I don't know if that counts. Another thing is like these emojis. I know, like some people some people think that it's too AI, looks like it's made by AI. But think about these sorts of emojis here. Check mark, check mark, check mark, X. That's marketing. Because now, because this is open source, is it open source or not? Now, you're curious. Oh, the 400 or almost 500 parameter one is not open source. Maybe it's special. Let me message them and see if I can buy it. Marketing. It's a thought, you know? Also, if you can be in public like streaming, actually got, yeah. Show some value. Your benchmarks are a great way to, yeah. All right, let's see these after Prime. 100% A-book, yeah. FX Pro is a hybrid. Pepperstone is mostly A-book, but it's got some STP. IC Markets claims true ECN, but in practice it's a hybrid. I knew IC Markets was sketchy. I had no way to prove it. I had absolutely no way to prove it. I just always see IC Markets. I just feel like they're sketchy. All right, let's see what it says about how many people lose. After Prime not published, its entities aren't under EU UK CFD disclosure rules. Check. They used to have it somewhere. Yeah, it doesn't show, but they used to publish it. Like how many percent of traders are winning and losing. It's in that 70% range. Yeah, never mind. All right, we'll go back to this not published. We'll just accept that. Guess I'll do it. Nice, you're gonna stream, okay. Or be in public videos, I don't know. But yeah, talk about it. Exactly, they playing the free tier, paid tier, giving the small model open source, the larger one not open source. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. All right, it's pretty much the same everywhere. Like there's no significance in terms of like clients losing and winning. I thought that could be interesting. I thought maybe the ebook brokers had less people losing money, but I was wrong on that one. It says here that 100% ebook is only independently verifiable via LP receipts, liquidity provider receipts. Shram is one of very few brokers that markets on this and invites verification. Big brokers are nearly all hybrid, profitable. Toxic flow gets A booked. Retail noise gets B booked. Toxic flow, by the way, means people who win. Loss rates cluster 70 to 85% everywhere, regardless of book model. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was no information there. Yeah. there's more to the B-book thing. I don't want you guys to leave thinking if it's a B-book automatically it's a scam. It's actually a way to make it more accessible to people trading. Still, it's not the best way in my opinion because it, like I said, it creates this conflict of interest. Not stream, just make videos of fixed map on the GitHub repo, yeah, to show proof. I can't live stream because I don't have time. I have some time scattered, not concentrated. Okay. If you show previews of fixed map, I'd say really work on the visualizer before you do that. What are your thoughts about prop firms? It's not fair. It's not fair what I did. I just kind of from the beginning was like, I'm not doing any of this prop firm thing because the whole point of trading is you're free, right? You have your money. You're not like following other people's rules. And prop firms have a lot of rules, and they have to because they're kind of also like a casino, the way that they work. Their entire business model, not all of them, technically there's some that are not like this, but pretty much all the prop firms, their business model depends on there being more losers than winners. I guess that not all of them. And so most of them automatically, it's like a conflict of interest on top of a conflict of it's just the worst. But then the few that are real prop firms, like a proprietary firm that will look for talent and then have the talent trade a much larger amount of capital, what it was supposed to be, okay? Makes sense. But at that point, why don't you just go get like a CFA, okay? Study like for real and get hired by a bank and become a real institutional trader. This is like I'm a retail institutional trader. This is like what the whole prop firm thing is. It's like pick a lane. Are you free or are you not? That's why for me from the beginning I just kind of pushed it away. Cool. Did you know Codex just ran out of limits and it's still working? Towards like 30 minutes or 45 minutes after I ran out of usage. It's working like a beast. Nice. Are you still going on like the same, I guess, thought chain? Like basically you get to 99%, that's when you start the biggest project that'll take 15 hours because they don't cut you off. Am I interpreting this correctly? I saw some traders talking about Lucid Trading Firm. Is that also a prop firm? What's Lucid Trading Firm? Is it a prop firm? Hey, that guy, the statistical arbitrage guy. I've been subscribed to him for a while, been looking at what he's doing. I really like that guy. Saw him streaming today, and then a friend of mine randomly was telling me about him as well. See Lego Geek? Visuals. That's a lot of energy spent on visuals. And then look at all these visuals over here. Dynamic visuals. It's going left, right, left, right. DLL. What is DLL? See, because of the visuals, now I want to know. You're trying 20 bucks codex tomorrow, right? You might run the same thing as this slow. Literally completely forgot that I was doing that. I should probably write it down this time. When I give this note, give GPT, I'll put in the brackets in purple. Look, I have many colors. I'm gonna call GPT Jippity. Another shot. That's what we're gonna do. I'll look into it also and see how I can properly use it tomorrow and what I can use it for. There's like some benchmarking tests, lots of things we can do. What is DLL? What is DLL? Lucid trading with clarity, or trade with clarity. There's no lucid anywhere. Dynamic link library is what it's called. They have some pretty legit partners. You got Trade of 8, Ninja Trader Pro. Rhythmic is a popular one also. Okay, so they seem pretty legit because they're connected. Oh, those are just platforms. I don't even know if they're partners. Maybe they're just calling it partners. Like you can use this to try out, you know. This is basically like a buy-in in a casino where, in addition to getting lucky, you have to also win in trading, which means you have to get extra lucky. What they don't talk about is the rules. Let's find the rules. I bet it has, all of them has it. They're straight to funded, okay. All right, this is the question to ask here. For the lucid trading prop firm, what are the eval rules? Are they reasonable relative to FXTM and in general? I need to go buy. Need to go again. Bye. I didn't see that until now. Take care. I think this is actually goodbye because I'm gonna stop streaming soon. It got dark. I'm gonna turn on the lamps. Want to trade or trade? I want to stream at night because of the lamps. See? Looks nice, but it's just not the right time. I scroll to the plan pricing section. They got funded rules there. They got Lucid direct without the whole step thing, and get direct account, but it's a bit expensive. Okay. Yeah, same when it comes to agents. Like I want to be there. When it goes on its own, it's not a good idea. Okay, so we asked this. Hey, I said FXTM. I did mean FTMO. That's on me. Oh my god. Gotta go back to. Okay. Lucid eval rules, future one phase. Target. 40% consistency rule, biggest single day. Greater than 40 of total profit also applies in your payout cycles. 5 trading days, no daily loss limit, no active fee. Wow, you have to trade 5 days. See, that's just too much. Like it's only for day traders who trade a particular way, you know, who have to trade in this time. Like even if you start and then things change and it's just not a good idea to trade right now, you have to trade. That's the thing about, that's why I just don't want to do. I don't have bukhur. Maybe it would be a good vibe. Oh, bukhur just. My mom has a lot. If I go down, I can have a lot immediately. I can just take it. All right. That was a long stream. I'm already beginning to feel my voice. That's pretty much it for today. Unfortunately, we didn't get to actually do what I said at the start, which is the evals for Kronos, fine tuning. We ended up doing a bunch of other things, but that was fun. And that's probably going to be a lot of the streams. So anyone who watched the video, the VOD, up until now and was actually interested, maybe skipped around, join the live stream. Check the live, or not live stream, check the community, the school community. I'm going to work on that, take that a bit more seriously. There's already like 30 people on it. It was a little more for trading. Now, still about trading, but we're going to just kind of expand a bit into vibe coding as well, because, you know, there's lots of stuff now that you can do with AI, trade related. So you get good at AI, so that you can even get better with creating algorithms, which is kind of the whole point of the school. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right, good stream. Thank you. Thank you for coming back always. I really appreciate it. It helps me also to know that this is working. You know, so I really do appreciate it. 404 coming with all the ideas, throwing all these ideas at me, the distractions. I call them distractions, but obviously it's not a distraction. That's the whole point. We're just throwing ideas around. All right. Peace. Salam alaikum. Peace and salam.